Did you get your butt kicked yesterday? Was it yesterday a decision about making decisions on your heart, or did you get forced to make decisions about business process, money? I gotta imagine that weird stuff came up yesterday, and today is a take action day. So I'm curious to know how you're feeling today. Put your comments in there to how you're feeling today specifically. What's going on in your world? Are you feeling energized? Are you feeling like you got to take action? Are you feeling like you're confused still? Are you dealing with stuff from yesterday still? Because today is that day. Today is a step 27 day and it's in Capricorn. We're coming up to a Grandmaster Capricorn day, Friday afternoon to Saturday morning. And it is going to be a powerful day. It's one of the most powerful days we've had in centuries. And here we come. We're going to be starting off with raw reality today. Raw, I'm trying to bring you up. Let's see if it works. There you are.
Get hello.
It looks like you got the same weather that we got.
Yeah,
How's,
crazy.
yeah.
It's
How's that possible?
super cloudy.
Yeah.
We have the same chemtrails probably.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Oh wow, man, it's been a crazy day. So yesterday was a decision day. And a lot of people were making decisions, and sometimes making a decision is I've had four options and I'm no longer going to think about three of them. I'm just going to think about one of them. But yesterday, things were being brought up in people's lives to help them make decisions on their past, on the way they view things, what their values were. Did you have any of that going on that you can recognize?
So last night I had a phone call that went way longer than usual. It was about a business decision somebody else was making.
Sure.
And he was having a different.
Uh-oh. Can you guys still hear me? Is that me?
Oh, he went away. He's no longer there
Hmm.
to reconnect.
Okay, guys, we're waiting for him to reconnect.
He said I got kicked off.
Yeah. Yeah. He was about to tell all the secrets. That's why. Hmm.
Algorithm.
How's the light over there, by the way?
It's good.
Yeah. Oh, there. That's a bit more. I felt like it was a little white there.
You can maybe tip your thing down. You've got a lot of space between here and here.
Okay. Yeah, guys. Okay, we're just waiting for Ra. He's back here. He'll be back here. So, what decisions did you have to make yesterday? Can you tell us? What decisions were being forced around you? What decisions did you see? Let's bring Ra back up. I'm now curious to know what it was that Ra was doing. By the way, we're indoors today because here we go. Awesome.
That was weird. It wasn't the internet. It was almost like I got exited off it. It said like, "Thank you for joining Human Garage Live. Bye bye."
Yeah, you know what? I weird stuff is happening like that. I'm not playing into like a conspiracy thing. I'm playing into when we are about to tell a truth, there always seems to be a weird thing. This happened to me last night when I was talking to a really famous chef who we're going to be working with for a food program. And right when we're getting to that peak of that conversation, boom, we get cut off.
Yeah, but I did have some decisions that have come up in the last, yesterday time frame, and just how I do things. Like our ability to multitask. Like, do I focus on one thing? Do I focus on a lot of things? So it was just restructuring how I focus on all of my different projects, as opposed to waking up every single day and just thinking I have all this stuff to do. Just organizing that so that I have a schedule, so that either Monday through Friday I have different days where I'm thinking about certain projects, and then even hour blocks throughout each day focus on individual projects. That way I can do multiple things in my life, and I don't have to just do one thing and be all out obsessed with one thing, and I'm able to, because that's difficult for me. I want to do everything. I need to say no to things, but also it's like, how do I do more than one thing and do it well?
Yeah, it's segmenting. I mean, that's what Tracy's here helping me do right now. I've been dealing in the last year with using things like Calendly to book links, which puts the power in other people's hands, even though you have blocks of time. And it caused me to always have to be showing up in weird times for weird things. But now being able to segment blocks of our life away, that's the way I've always done it. But it requires to put in those blocks, and then eventually, Raw, you're getting so busy that you're gonna have to have somebody assist you.
I met Tracy up there, right? It was like her second day
Yeah.
there. Tracy, yeah, she was impressive. How her workflow and how her brain thinks, and she's going to be super critical for you guys.
Yeah. I mean, she's a professional, literally a professional assistant. I mean, she was interviewing for before us for like a princess, in a palace, in a royal palace, right? So and those are where it's about not having an assistant. It's about having somebody who can learn to think like you, and then learns to make values based decisions. So the idea is teaching people what the values are, because otherwise, then their values are making the decisions on what my time goes
Mhm.
into. And that's a tough one. Where it was before is I was open basically for the last couple of years. I just show up and I do whatever comes throughout the day, and my time is being pulled in different directions. It's not very efficient, but it was what we had to do at the time.
Right.
So now you're making a decision to follow what your heart wants, and then you're implementing something in order to make that happen.
Yeah, that sounds
Yes.
right. Yeah.
So yesterday's astrology was today's the day to make decisions on what your heart wants, not on what your brain wants. Don't make decisions about money. Don't make decisions about process. It's what does my heart want to do? And I mean, we had a couple of weird meetings that came. One of them that impromptu. We had two groups of people starting businesses around us, and one was doing completely heart based, and one was doing it not heart based. And it was so obvious. I was looking at it saying, I don't even have to. I don't even have to tune into this one. Like one's not going to work, and one is going to work, right?
Decisions. Yeah, decision. That word decision means to cut off. That.
Yeah,
Yeah. So,
to
which
say
is
no
important.
to. It's not about
Right.
saying yes. It's to say
Right.
no to.
Exactly. And when you say no to things in your life, you get to say yes to the things that really matter to you. And it's great that you highlighted what is your heart desire, because that's a very distinct difference that for some of us, if we're in our mind, we really have to consciously come into our heart and feel. And like you guys taught me, tune in,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Figure out if we're leaning forward towards it, if we feel. For me, it's a upward flow of energy, like I get
That's me.
lighter, or leaning
Yeah,
forward.
yeah,
Those two things, and then the no is heaviness or repelling,
yeah. Yeah.
which
So
is
it comes up in different ways. So one of them was I noticed yesterday very distinctly is that people had to get out energies from the past. So in this one meeting that we had, there was all kinds of people involved in the meeting, and there was resentment and anger that was in the energy pool, and people had to deal with it in a different way after they left. And a lot of it has to do with a lot of resentment has to do with like I did everything I was supposed to do, right? But like I'm raising my I'm like one of them was I raised my kids the way I'm supposed to raise my kids. They said, "You do know you're on frame, right?" Lisa?
hi
No, no,
Lisa.
no. I'm just letting you know you are
Hi
on
Lisa.
frame there. It's like it's perfectly cool, but you're standing there. It looks like you're an action figure in the back. It's like a LARP.
There was no hustle in her step to get out of frame. She was just staying there.
I'll keep recording.
You can totally do that. I just wanted you to know that I'm actually staring at your backside where you're. So, so what was funny about it? I'll move it over here next time. So we only got one door. So what I was observing is that the emotions that came out brought up situations like one was for Tracy is how she raised her kids and how she had to be there all the times and not follow her heart's desires. People go, well, that's just what you do with kids. And I said, well, no, that's the way society has made it. Society's made it that way so that you are raising your kid. It's like when kids are raised by a village in a community the way we're supposed to, then then the parents have the autonomy and the opportunity to go do their things. But we've been my kids got to take care of them, and as a result, now yeah, you have to take care of them. And this is the greatest part about when I see Maxine around here, because Maxine interacts with our community. She has her time with each and every member of our community. And she goes and she does different things with them. Well, that occupies a lot of her learning and her desire to learn. And then the parents, like Aisha, isn't involved in every one of those conversations, which is even better because the child gets different reference points. And that's why Maxine is like learned a completely new language in like months and fluent, and not only fluent, but can understand tone and intonation and
Right.
jokes and stuff like that because she understands where they came from because she's talking to 10 or 15 different people on a regular basis.
Right. And that's that multi-dimensional capability to receive perspective and then filter it through different basically lenses of her perspective. And I feel like that's even important culturally. Europe, for instance, if you go over there, everybody speaks 7 languages and they've got a lot of influence from many different types of people. But here in the USA, we're kind of just like monocultured out, and we don't really have capability to analyze things from multiple perspectives and multiple lenses. And so what you're talking about is like at a micro level, but it even applies to a macro level of an
Yes.
entire civilization of
Yeah.
people.
Yeah, because it starts at the micro.
Right.
If I'm this way, I attract people around me. Somebody said it's hard to find a community that's healed enough to trust your kids with. And I'm like, that's what we are. I mean, literally. And it's a good point. I understand what you're saying, but I also want to point out that the people around me are a result of my level of consciousness. And
Always.
and if I'm having trouble finding a community of people, it's because I'm not healed enough inside. And that's part of it. And I'm saying this, I'm not saying it to pick on you who made the comment. It's a great comment because your comment is not, you're not alone in that comment. The majority of people say that. And it's not, it's like, I would say that over 85% of the people, 90% of the people, if you asked them, they would say that exact same thing. So it's a very common comment, but everybody's like that. And the reason why they're like that is because they're not healed themselves.
That comment gets said to me all the time, and almost like it's a victim type thing, right? They're looking at it's they hear Gary or me say these things. This live video is moderated, and then it's very, very easy to say it's hard to find a community that's healed enough to trust with your kids. But it's up to you to create that. Like, you are the source of that community. So if you look around and you don't see like-minded individuals, then that's step one. Step two is create it, right?
Yeah.
At least you're aware that there is a contrast between what you've currently created, because your current community is your creation of your mindset that maybe you're shifting out of now, and you don't realize that you were perfectly in harmony with everything in your community maybe a year ago, or maybe 5 years ago, or maybe 10 years ago, when you stepped into what you've created around you now. And now you're sensing, like, instead of being the victim, go back and realize how you created what is now and give yourself permission to create anew. And
So here's
that
one. Live More Consulting says it's not actual science. You can be healed and surrounded by unhealthy people. So, I mean, there's a couple ways to take that comment. What do you say?
You can be healed and surrounded by unhealthy people. I mean, I like to look at everybody not as just like black and white like this, right? Like
Sure.
I'm healed, they're unhealthy, and look at everybody as a progression. And so if we're categorizing ourselves as healed, it's assuming that there is a progression, there's an evolution of self. And as long as that we can accept within ourself that we're a progress, a work in progress, and that we're making, quote, mistakes that in the future we're going to realize they're mistakes. And when we look around at others, realize that they're all in a progression as well and have grace for them, just like we have grace for ourselves. And it's more of a, it's, if we're going against them, if we're labeling them as unhealed, that's kind of going against the grain, and it's not really allowing and giving them capability to grow in your mind. And it doesn't mean that we have to hang out with them or spend all of our time with them, but acceptance is available for us when we look at others who are even doing things that we are repulsed by.
So what I hear you saying is healed is not a state of being. It's not a place to go. Because the day that I think I am something, the universe will show me that I'm not.
Correct.
And so the healed implies sick or broken. And this is why I didn't like the word healer. And I don't like the word, like healing I used as a euphemism sometimes to communicate to people, but true healing is to realize that there was nothing to heal. It's a lesson, it's a learning, and I asked for the lesson. So I'm in a journey of experience in which I asked for it. So if I'm asking to be healed, that means I wanted to separate myself from that experience. I don't. And that's where the sickness comes from. Is like, I know I'm different than that. I don't want to be a part of that. That's where sickness comes from. It's me, because that's making a judgment too. And when I make a judgment, whoa, the universe comes at me.
Right. There's that quote, I forget who said it, but somebody asked a guru or a philosopher, like, how do you treat others? And the answer was, there are no others. Right.
Yeah.
So, and in dream science, how I was taught, like in psychology and in university, is that when you look at a dream and you analyze a dream, all of the different characters in the dream are an aspect of you, right? Because you're the only one dreaming. It's all happening within you. So all of those characters are you. And you can expand that into actual life as well. This is our experience. We are responsible to it. We are responsible for our relationship to everything within our own fault or blame. Responsibility just means I'm able to respond, right? Responsibility. And so we are responsible for how we receive others. And that's where we get to choose our level of consciousness, our level of awareness. Are we judging out of fear and lack and anger, or are we accepting and joyful and seeking harmony within the environment, and also having that door open to grow? We don't have to take everybody with us.
Yeah, and so what I do is it's a constant feedback mechanism. The life we live in, I chose every situation in this life to give me the feedback so that I would know how to navigate myself through this life. If I pick you up, what I've learned through astrology, and I know it so well, if I pick you up, Ron, take you and put you in China, within a matter of hours and days, every influence that you have astrologically that you have in your life here shows up over there. I know because I've verified that literally in my life and the lives of others. Like literally hundreds of times we do this. We just show, well, there's your mom, there's your dad, there's your brother, there's your, and we show that those energies will show up because those are the energies that allow us to function. And so people, what if you get put on a desert island? The animals have energy. They'll show up. They'll be the ones that hang around, piss you off, come cuddle with you, whatever it is, steal your food. There to create the experience that we want. And it's an ever evolving process. And the way that I know where I am in my process, if you want to call it healing, is I look at my reflection. Because what we were talking about last night is we went through a journey from 2020, living together, working together to build this community. It started off. And we looked at our reflections, and when we got a reflection, we were like, we didn't like that. We didn't like the people that showed up. We didn't like the situations. We didn't like what happened. We didn't like the frustrations. And by the way, if you're in our lifestyle artist program and you're past level 1, you can actually go back and see us. You can see us having issues with community members. I mean, it's right there. We document it all because we don't want anything to be hidden. We want people to know that this experience is a constant feedback mechanism. And the way I know how I'm doing is I look at who shows up in my life. And if I keep having problems and sadness and shames and guilts and angers and frustrations show up in my life, it's because it's still in me to come out. Otherwise, I won't have it in my experience. That makes me responsible for my experience.
And if you are going through difficult processes, it's because you're strong enough to deal with them. Otherwise, it wouldn't be happening to you. And
Absolutely.
and when this is a lot easier to take in when you consider the possibility for reincarnation, right? Which is what you're alluding to when you're talking about different connections and astrological signs, that we're going through cycles of lifetime to learn different lessons and to evolve as either an individual being or a collection of beings. And so if you're so attached to this lifetime being, how you envision it, and perfect, and rainbows and butterflies and vacations on the beach, and you see other people have that, and you see that yourself doesn't, and you're under the influence that you only live once, it can be really dragging down of your soul and your psyche, because you see what you desire and how you're not going to get it. Apparently, like, everything's apparent to you that you're not going to have that. And there is a little bit of comfort you can have in the trust that this is the experience that you're having this time. You're the race that you are, you're the sex that you are, you're the sexuality that you are, you identify as this now. And currently existing, there are other versions of you who are living different life experiences. And we're here now. And enjoy it. We're here now. We're learning. Like, take as much from this experience as you can, because that's all that there is.
So that's why I went and found all my doppelgangers. I found, as you know, you've seen, I've had people that look identical to me, have the same astrology right down to the number. They have the same life circumstances, just in a different body and a different people. And not just one or two, I've got like 80 of them in a room. And I watch them and I talk to them. And it's like, I got a pain in my back. They got a pain in their back at the same time. They didn't even know. And there has to be more to this picture. There has to be more. Because if it was as simple as it was described below, like they have, for example, the people are like, well, why is there pain and suffering? Well, there's pain and suffering because we believe it's pain and suffering. It's like, if I'm going to go and put my body through pain to get a better body, I don't call that pain and suffering. I call that working towards something. I'm doing something to achieve something because I want to. But if I have that same kind of pain and tiredness and waking up each day and I can't move, like if you watch guys in gyms, right? They walk downstairs and it's like they can't even walk downstairs after doing legs, right? Now, but they went and did that so that they can have something more. Now, that same person, if they couldn't walk down the stairs in the morning when they got up, they would be complaining.
That's our ability to accept effort. And this is an effortful existence. And yeah, there's different ways to come across a mountain, right? You can complain that you have to climb it, or you can be excited to climb it. And that doesn't mean that you're not scared or that you're not uncomfortable. It's just a willingness to live. This is life. This is why we're here. And we do get stronger, not just in the gym. We do get stronger and more capable as a result of our challenges. Like smooth seas, I forget the exact quote.
Yeah, I would just say
smooth seas don't make a good sailor or something like that.
It's because we came for experience. We didn't come for we were sold a lie that we're supposed to have a white picket fence and everything's supposed to work good. If it's not that, then there's something wrong. That's actually a narrative. That's actually a belief set, which is incorrect, because there's not one part of the human existence that actually works without resistance. We breathe. The single breath that we take, we draw air in and we create pressure again inside of our body against external pressure, creating resistance, only to let it go. Every part of this life has resistance. That's how the human body, the human experience works. We resist, we push against resistance of some sort, right down to the breath.
Right. There's that quote by Jim Carrey, I wish everybody could be rich and famous to realize that it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like, because everybody's looking and thinking, I will be happy when, right? I will be happy when I don't have to deal with this challenge anymore. Realize that there is a point that you said, I will be happy when you're currently in your existence right now. I was talking to somebody, he lived on like Abbott Kinney. You know where that is? In an apartment. There. Living right now because it was a 2-bedroom apartment. He was sharing a room. He was sharing a 2-bedroom apartment with another person. He had his own room. And I was like, hey, do you remember when you were living in your homeland and this was the dream? I mean, you're living off Abbott Kinney, like on Abbott Kinney in Venice, like perfect weather year round. Do you remember when this was your dream? And he was like, yeah. I was like, so like, how did you go from dreaming about this to being unhappy with this situation? And that's what we're doing when we're unhappy. We don't realize that we dreamed this all up. And we're currently living our dream that we had in the past.
So I have because people ask me, by the way, Mike Bledsoe says hi.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
I talked to him yesterday talking about decision days. Yeah, and he goes, because we were laughing, he goes, and Ronnie.
for those of you who don't know, Ra is short for Ronnie.
Yes. So one of the things that happened when I was in prison, there was the 17 months that I was in solitary confinement. That was rough. I mean, I wanted every moment to not be there. I never found a moment where I was okay. But there was a moment when I knew that the journey of possibly being politically locked up for 40 to 80 years was going to come to an end. I knew that I had a target time. We were negotiating my way out. And I was, and then I further knew that I was going to be in a couple months. It was coming to an end. And I remember my entire life since I was 9 years old, I have worked every day. I've been responsible. I've been trying to achieve, move ahead, because that was the goal. That's what I thought I was held to standard. And I held myself to that standard. I would get up in the morning at this point. At this last stage, I was in a camp, in a federal camp, and I would get up in the morning. I would go eat my breakfast. I would go back, listen to some radio. Then I would work out. I had no responsibilities, no jobs, nothing, because I'm on my way out. And then I got up from a nap. So that's when I started napping, first time in my life. So I started napping midday. I'm like, I'm going to try this out. I've got all the space to do it here. So I started napping in my midday, and I got up from my nap, and I was about to go out for my second workout. And my buddy had, bootlegged illegal chocolate in there from outside. Really wealthy guy. He owned the San Jose Sharks. That's who I was in with in the end, one of the owners. And I went into his locker, grabbed some chocolate, and I was eating it, getting ready to go up for my workout. And I thought I had this moment of being completely grateful. I was taking care of my body. I was taking care of my mind. I didn't have to go anywhere or do anything. I got to do what I wanted. At that time, I'm really in the confines of that restriction. I can't leave that spot. But I had this moment of happiness, of appreciation for where I was. And that's when everything changed in my life. That's literally the turning point. Because if I could find appreciation and happiness in the worst spot of my life, then from there, there's no other, I could be happy in other parts of my life because I had this life where I should have been happy. I had millions and millions of dollars. I flew all over the world. I had hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of cars. I had the wife and two kids. I had all of the things that you were supposed to define happiness, but I wasn't happy. And here I was, I'm in prison eating chocolate, waiting to go work out, and I found happiness. And that for me, that was my turning point. That was the time when everything changed.
Right. What I hear from, and thank you for sharing that, because that example was needed, right? Because it's really easy for us to say that, when you're in Cancun right now, and everybody gets the notion that it's easy for you to be happy, but they don't realize that, like, we have stories of, like, we have been through pain as well, and that's how we had to wrap our heads around, how is this existing? Like, what is the purpose of this? And we can come to these conclusions as a result of us going through it. It's not like we just read this in a book somewhere and then just like spewing it out. And what I'm hearing when you say that is that it was a creation of yours. It sounds
Yes,
like there had to have been a longing for relaxation, for slowing down, for stopping. And
there was. It was. Hold on one second, Rob. Okay, I'm going to go off for a second.
you're breaking up right now.
We got rained
Specifically,
out.
what
We got
time?
rained out here. We got rained out here, so I had to go. And it flipped me off the internet. So,
Yeah,
and yeah, so you're right. It's because I remember when I was there, looking at people who were not in solitary confinement, knowing that they're playing cards with their buddies and thinking, wishing I could be there, and then
right.
and then wishing I could be out with my family and my kids, and and you have all of these things. And I had one other moment of happiness, which was surprising. So we during the pandemic, I couldn't work. So I get out, I'm working for another 10 years, and then a little more than 10 years, and the pandemic comes. Now I had worked 6 days a week, 60, 70, 80 hours a week, trying to figure out this issue with my body, my life, and healing myself because I wasn't healed and all that crap. And then the pandemic came and I couldn't touch anybody. I mean, it was perfect for me because nobody wanted to be touched. It wasn't like I was saying no. It's like I literally nobody would even book an appointment at that time. So this is the beginning of the pandemic. So we used to ride this like Segway around. Cynthia and I used to ride this
That's
Segway all through
an
town. And
interesting cycle too, because it was, roughly 2 years of no work as well. And what was it? 12 years later, 11 years later.
12 years, exactly. It's a Jupiter cycle. It's a story repeating every 12 years.
Yeah,
That's the next point of it, the astrology of it. So yeah, exactly. Because I'm locked away, but this time locked away in a different way. Like I have no guilt about it, no remorse. I'm just like, okay, it is what it is. Whatever's going to happen is going to happen. And we're riding on this Segway. We used to like double up, pair, tandem, and ride on this Segway everywhere and all over town. And I'm riding. It's middle of the night. We just kind of got off this wooden jungle gym thing where we're running around. And I stopped the Segway coming up the street, and I said, "I'm really happy right now." And then it dawned on me: if I'm happy right now, then what was I before?
you're asleep.
And this is where the healing thing, going back to the healing thing earlier, it's a progression of experiences. You're never healed and you're never truly happy. And it's always a progression. It's an experience. And if I treat it as I want to be somewhere else, then it creates judgment, distension, fear, anger, guilt, resentment. And just accepting the experience as it is and looking around me and going, what am I going to learn today? And there's some days that they were shitty, man. There are like some days I woke up and it's like I was writing when I was in solitary confinement. I wrote 1,000 reasons why it was good for me, why this is going to change my life. I mean, that's what I wrote. That's what I did with my 17 months.
You could probably publish that. I mean, Viktor Frankl published Man's Search for Meaning, which is based on his times in the concentration camps in during World War II. But I want to say that I have one of those moments where I looked around and I was with Adam, and we were slacklining in Santa Monica on the beach, and it was foggy. So it was like the whole beach was covered in fog. You could barely see like 100 feet. It was a really weird day. And I remember just looking around and just thinking and just realizing like, wow, like life is perfect. Like that. And I thought about that yesterday, which is funny we were talking about this, because it's good to have those memories of those realizations burned in our psyche and to pull them up as just a memory, as a remembrance to go back into that, because it's really easy every day to think about the bills and all of the challenges. So we all have these scenarios where we realize that we are happy, and it's good to be able to push that button every once in a while
So
to bring that back.
what I learned was, the takeaway as I come forward, because I've gone through multiple versions of that since then, I have less than I've ever had in my life right now. Like I don't own anything. I don't have a driver's license. I have a passport and a birth certificate. I don't have any other picture ID. I have shirts and some shorts. I literally pack everything, and you've seen it. I am the happiest that I have ever been. And 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 one of the ways to define happiness for me is the lack of obligation, the ability to do what I want when I want, to choose. And I choose to do things which are sometimes tough and hard and painful and not convenient, but I'm not obliged to do it. I don't have to anymore. I choose to do it. And because I choose to do it, I do it more often and I have more experience out of it. When I had to do it, I'm like, no, I don't want to. Don't get me out of bed.
You're dragging your
Yeah.
feet through it. And right now you're a high performer with a smile. And it's consistent every single day. And like I've spent days with you, and there's like the amount of life force that you exude to light up a room is tangible and it's felt. And I know that's, why everybody appreciates watching you on here, is because you can keep that prana high as a result of you being in alignment with what you're doing every day.
Yeah.
And it's that alignment that gives us that will to go through life, and just keep moving forward, keep evolving.
Yeah. Yeah. It's alignment. And it's, what I love about what you're doing is you're following your heart right now. It's like, because things don't always make sense. Like your estate sale. Let's sell it all.
Right.
It's like who does that? I mean, yeah, like I do, but the majority of people don't. They're so scared that they're not going to get what they want out of life. They hold on to every last moment.
That's a good exercise too. Like when you're making a decision, okay, what's the decision I would make if I was fearing a certain outcome? What's the decision I would make if I would trust that it's going to work out exactly as it should work out for the benefit of all? What's the decision I would, if you put yourself in different consciousness states and then like almost like just pretend what decision would I make if I knew I were capable, right? And that might offer you some insight, and you realize that like, oh, I am capable, I can do this, because then you can just break it down into steps, and then eventually that won't be necessary. You just are capable, and decisions even just kind of happen on their own. as a result of you harmonizing things to you based on you. And then you realize that, like, if you do get into a difficult decision, you realize how you created it. You're like, oh, I've been being a certain way, and so now I'm up against this fork in the road, and this is reality telling me, hey, we're confused on how you've been behaving. You're thinking this way, you're acting this way, you're feeling this way. What direction are you going to go? And that's what I think is the reason for those pivot times in your life, is because you've been a little bit chaotic with your thoughts, your actions, and your emotions. And reality is like, hey, we need to get back to, like, who are you? Like, who are you, so we can get a proper reflection in reality.
Chaos is growth, man. And pretend is like when I show up and do something, I'm tending to the reaction or to the situation. When I pretend, I'm just doing it in advance. So when I'm pretending, I'm actually just showing up into a situation. I'm tending to it.
That's
It's so funny how words are set
right,
up, right? It's
because we're taught pretend is not real.
Yeah, pretend is real. It's like I'm dealing with it. Like if like here's what pretend is in professional sports. Okay, visualize the
Practice.
hoop. Visualize.
Okay, yeah,
Visualizing is pretending, and we know scientifically that works.
right.
So why don't we do that in our lives? Because it's not real.
Right. It's like, that's a bad word. It's like, don't pretend. Like, reality is the only thing that's real.
Okay, now here's how it's manipulated. We have a certain amount of emotion that we use and invest in creating something, right? If that's something, and once we have that emotion used up, we have it used up, our creative energy, and then we have to recycle it somehow. We have to tend to it, right? Because we have been pretending. Well, one of the ways it's used is that same emotion goes into watching a movie.
Yes.
So when we watch a movie, it takes away our creative energy.
It's a
And people are
vacuum.
like, no, but it makes me feel so good. There's no movie that will make you feel as good as living the life that the movie is talking about.
It's you are a passive observer when you're watching a movie. They've determined what you're seeing, they've determined what you're hearing, and from that they can manipulate your thoughts and your emotions in the moment. And you're literally just a couch potato. You're laying back, not moving. This is essentially the
It is.
Matrix, right? This is like
It is.
you're one of those people that they're just siphoning off energy like a battery. That's what the whole metaphor of that movie was.
It is.
Is that
I no longer see the woman in the red dress, or I no longer see the pixels. I just see the woman in the red dress. And because of that, it's funny because people always ask me to go watch movies or go watch a show, or have you watched this on Netflix? By the way, if you're out there and you're asking me that, you don't know me very well. I'm not going to watch anything. I don't care what it is, because I would rather have the experience than have the experience taken away from me. And the reason why I self-actualize and show up happy every day is because this is my movie. I leave this, and the crap that happens in my life in a good way, I'm like, you can't even make movies that show that stuff.
right? And that's why it's important to be in the present moment and be aware and be able to, going back to an hour ago, being able to process information through multiple lenses. And that, like, turns our life movie from a one-dimensional or two-dimensional scenario into high def, multiple perspectives. We get that throughout life through our capability to absorb more information in the present moment.
And we get
that's
we get it
but
through we get the opportunity to do that when we live in community
right, there's reflections.
all the time. If you want to see drama, you want to see adventure, you want to see sadness or a horror picture sometimes, you just come out. I mean, it's all around me every day. I mean, and the thing is that the movie is like a pharmaceutical. It gives me the drug release without the reinforcement, which creates side effects in my life.
And that's why we're so addicted as a society, just as people, to watching reality TV, because it's giving us that community scenario that we belong in. That's our nature, right? Like if you look into nature, you'll see like wolves are pack animals. They live within communities. So do like even insects like ants are very social, and we are as well. So it's like if we were to take an ant or a dog, which we do, and we just put it into a house all by itself. It wouldn't really, it would live its entire life without knowing that something's off. And it's off because it's separated from the other beings, the other reflections, as you just put it. And that's how life was meant for human beings.
Somebody said, yeah, but I would totally buy a ticket to watch the Garry show. And I'm like, that's what you're doing.
It's happening right now.
Tickets free of charge. Come along for the ride and experience it with us, because what we're doing is sharing experiences. We're not sharing a plot or an outcome. We're sharing the truth of the experience. So you get to live in it, because you take the experience away from this. It's not telling you, it's not narrating how you live through it. And you get to go and have those experiences or reflect on them in your community. That's what this is. That's why people are addicted to reality TV. It's just that reality TV is fake.
Right. It can happen in our life. We can live a dramatic life filled with experiences and emotions and challenges.
Well, there's lots of drama around here. People are like relieving traumas and stuff like that. It's a little intense being around us at first. Lisa's chuckling here in the background. It's like if you haven't dealt with those emotions, you're gonna deal with them when you're around us.
Right.
You don't have a choice.
Yeah. And you're there 24/7, so there's really no holding it.
Ross,
And after you do those, blink twice if you need help. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's been the most rewarding experience of my life, because I instinctively knew that we're supposed to live in community, but I didn't like living in community because people didn't know how to set boundaries, and they don't know what boundaries are, and they've lost the ways to show up, and that's what we've been building. We've been building this process for people to learn how to show up in a new way. And part of it is it's even like with what you're doing. You come in, you spend time with us, and over time you go, okay, well, that works for me, and I can bring part of that into my life. It's like training to live in a community. And that's why we have our centers here. We bring people in that are working with us, whether they're in our programs or supporting, because we want them to feel that experience, whether they live in our community or not. We want them to take the good parts and move into their community.
Right. Integration. We can integrate at the level that makes sense for us. And you guys are at your level.
I was gonna say, you have a hard stop today, right?
Yeah. We can disconnect soon.
Okay. Because I just want to be, I always want to be respectful. Speaking of boundaries, I just want to be respectful of you have a hard stop.
Yeah. So I think that's a good time. It's been a good time here, and I appreciate these conversations. They're super fun. We look forward to them. Lisa, see you later. I'll see you soon, hopefully.
She's blinking a lot. I don't know what that means.
All right, Garry.
Okay, yeah, and more reels, man. That last one is like, I don't know, 500,000. It's like, whoo.
Yeah. This is where it's like, okay, I'm back in the groove of the Instagram thing. I kind of got out of it for a little bit, so I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, it was fun watching. It's fun watching all the comments, and because you bring such a unique and fresh perspective. I mean, thank you for all you do.
Well, appreciate the reception and reflection. Bye, guys.
Take care, huh? It's always fun. Yeah, the movie is brainwashing and desensitizing us. Yeah, it really is, guys. The reason why I don't watch movies, I'll go into TikTok. Here's my consumption. I look at our media and the media of the people that contribute to us. I go into TikTok and I watch specific people's opinions or thoughts or beliefs, and that's it. And And the reason why I do that is I want more reflections outside of here. I mean, I get a lot of reflections inside of here, but I want reflections that are outside of here too. And I watch real life situations. I don't watch anything put together. You know, for those of you who are actors and actresses and into art, I appreciate that form of art. For me, it resonates. I've got all of that stuff around me. And if I look hard enough, I can turn any one of those situations into a movie. Okay, Chris Alba. Chris Alba. When someone's ticklish, how does it relate to fascia? Ticklish is a spot in your body where it's holding an emotion you don't want to deal with. Chris Alba.
Hey, Gary, how are you?
Good. How's it going?
It's going.
How is it over on the other side of the other coast?
The other side of the coast. I just actually got in the water in the morning. It's pretty chilly. How about over there?
Oh, it's warm like a baby's bath.
Oof, okay. Yeah, it's pretty chilly here, so
Yeah,
it's kind
you're in
of,
the Pacific side. You choose the Pacific side. You choose chilly water. You chilly people. It's like we're all hot and toasty over here. Is that me again? Oh, smokes! I've been having issues with my connection, or it could be you. I don't know. So how
yeah.
is it? How were you, Chris? What decisions were you making in the last 24 hours?
You got me there?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
What decisions were you making over the last 24 hours, or what was coming up that was forcing a decision in your life? You're a Leo,
I'm a Leo. Yeah, yeah, you remember that one?
yeah, and your partner's a Gemini.
My partner's a Gemini. Yeah. So right now we're still, I guess we are going through some kind of separation. Well, I guess there is no such thing as separation, but
No,
we
Gemini's
are.
that's just another day.
Yeah, I guess so.
If for
Yeah,
Gemini's, the separation is Tuesday, and
yeah,
Wednesday it may not be. That's just for all you Geminis out there. It's like,
yeah. It's very interesting situation because I guess it's like a normal thing, like coming back and forth, right? It's like I'm here now, I'm not. But
feels like you're not,
yeah,
not saying something, Chris. I can feel your throat. I can feel that your heart, you haven't said something to her, or you haven't spoken about it. You need to speak something right now.
yeah, yeah. It maybe it's just that we're not speaking to each other.
Okay.
So maybe
So
that's what
what
you
do you want to
guys
say to
hear.
her that you can't say right now because it's on your heart?
Well, I would just tell her that I love myself and just like I love everyone and everything, and that's not gonna change regardless what, where, and when. Um, I don't know. I feel like I don't know. It's like I feel like love. It's something very different for everyone, but at the end of the day, love is all just within us, right? It's just what we are. So it's kind of like transmutating that and just coming back to basics, right? To where you started.
Yeah.
So
I
yeah,
mean, I mean, you have a high capacity for acceptance and love. She uses her brain, which doesn't have that same high capacity for acceptance and love all the time.
I agree. I agree, and I think it's the same for everyone, right? Based on experiences and traumas that we have stored
Yeah.
somewhere.
Yeah.
So yeah, like what I've found to do, it's like I accept it. Like I just do my best to accept whatever reality is, because that's what I attracted somehow. That's what I created for myself. So I come back to it and take responsibility on that, and it's like okay, well, you just gotta accept whatever that's happening, and you do it. But once you're doing it, there is emotions that come. So now you gotta process those emotions. So like listening to you, listening to Rod, and it's just like so many realizations. It's like, well, okay, like that makes sense. It's just so simple, and at the same time, it's like we make it so complicated for ourselves, but it's just so
What was
simple.
her name again? Was it Jennifer?
Uh, um, Sharna,
Pardon me? Charla?
Sharna,
Charla. So,
S Sharna, Sharna.
Sharna. Sharna. Okay. Say this. Sharna,
Sharna,
I'm opening up my heart since you left.
I'm opening up my heart since you left.
I have a capacity to follow my heart
I have a capacity to follow my heart.
and accept you for you and your journey.
That's it. You for you and your journey.
I'm taking away the lessons from our time together
I'm taking away the lessons from our time together
so I can integrate them into the new me.
so I can integrate them into the new me.
I'm learning to speak my truth from my heart.
I'm learning to speak the truth from my heart.
I'll take the responsibility for my side of the relationship,
I'll take my responsibility for my side of the
and
relationship.
I'll let you have the responsibility for yours.
No, rather that you have the responsibility for yours.
I'm cutting all ties between us
I'm cutting all tie between us
so that new ones can develop in the future.
so that new ones can develop in the future.
Okay. How's that feel?
That's good. Feel a release.
Yeah. I mean, it's at the part of it is that you love and you care so much that Leo and you want everybody to be okay and all right. And she has to go figure it out in her brain. She has to connect with her heart again. That's why she was with you, to learn how to connect with her heart.
Yeah, it's been something. It's been a very beautiful experience. Um, like I've met so many people in the world, but there's always one that just teaches you so much, even without being there.
Yeah, yeah. Geminis have a habit of doing that. Geminis and Scorpios, they're gonna teach you. You're gonna get it.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. It's very, very interesting, because yeah, like doesn't have to be there. Like doesn't even have to like do really much, but at the end, it's still teaching, right? So yeah, I've been doing my with the stress. Um, like something happens with me. I don't know if that happens to other people as well, but like for me, it's like kind of hard to catch up with you guys, like regarding times. Like I think I subscribe to the global reset that just started. I just don't really know. Like I guess like even though I'm 33 years old, I was born 1990. Like I'm not so attached to the computer thing and like scheduling thing. Um, I
That's
didn't
okay.
really.
That's a good thing. That's a good thing. That's why you skydive. You skydive to follow your heart, have experience. Like get in and catch in when you can. The reset. I mean, the reset is. I mean, at the end of it, fashion maneuvers is about learning to talk to myself again. It's fun to do it with people because I get a reflection. I get a
Yeah,
reflection with other people. But at the core of it, I was having this discussion with my assistant today. I was saying that it's really about you connecting with you. And you can't do what I do. You have to learn what works for you, because otherwise then you're just doing my program. That's why Fascial Maneuvers is open. It's like learn the movements, learn why we do the movements, and then adapt them and create yourself. It's really just a platform to create your own self-help, self-healing.
Yeah, yeah, totally. And that's really how it's been happening to me or through me. Um, I learn what you teach. I learn the maneuvers. I learn all that, and then I kind of added like with a lot of breath work. Of course, I feel like breathing. It's the connection to self and God. So I do a lot of breath work, but as well, I was seeing that you're doing some maneuvers with breath work as well, and also moving your hands and like stretching and
Yeah.
back and forth. I don't recall his name, but he's part of the team there with you, and it's amazing. Like it's it's amazing how like you said, we all get different thoughts in the wholeness, and we magically just do it differently. So it's like I kind of been doing that, just kind of like feeling my body. Um,
You
yeah,
know what
just watch you,
nobody's
and it's
done
like,
before, Chris?
I beg your
Nobody's done
pardon.
nobody's done totally twisted while parachuting. Nobody's done a pretzel squat while parachuting. You're gonna do that, man. Get somebody to photograph that. Get that on video.
Totally, yeah, no, it's
You'd be the
possible for
first
sure.
person in the world to do fashion maneuvers while falling.
Okay, yeah. I love to do that. Why not? Why not? So right now
It
I'm
would be quite a rush, because if you were to stand like this as you're falling, the force of gravity is going to change the way that the fascia moves to adapt. It's got to be cool.
yeah, yeah, it must be super cool. Honestly, like I really haven't thought about it, but one thing that I really love, like let's say you're flying head up, you can literally just like cartwheel and then you're like head down. So
Yeah.
so what you do is like you stretch your body, like you stretch your body and your feet and your wholeness, your whole being. So
You
somehow
got
I
to get
guess
that
it's
on
like,
video. You got to get a fashion maneuver while parachuting in video. It'd be the first in the world. It would have to be somewhere in our social media, on our sites. You'd be and putting a new world record in place.
oh my goodness. All right. Well, that's I just had something to do right now. Then I just got a purpose.
Yeah, I think it totally twisted works. I think something crazy like a pretzel squat would work.
Yeah, yeah. Totally. They're both possible. They're both possible. It's
Yeah, I love to see that.
it's like dancing, right? Right? It's just like dancing.
Well, that's what fashion maneuvers is.
Yeah,
It's slow motion dance.
slow motion down. Yeah, right now I'm actually tapping into other stuff. I've been doing a lot of meditation, a lot of like yoga or my fashion maneuvers as well, kind of like a combo. Um, just got back to Puerto Vallarta. I was back in my hometown, which there is no beach; it's just a big concrete jungle. So kind of hard to connect to the earth. So I was very excited to come back and get in the water. So probably gonna
Yeah.
go surfing, trying to connect to the ocean, and I want to do more nature things. I want to connect to the earth as much as possible.
Well, it sounds like you're back in the right spot.
Yeah. It's been massive. I haven't mentioned to you, but um, I think I've mentioned to you that I started a business company, a skydiving business company, but
Yes.
somehow life has something with Leos that always makes it complicated for some reason.
Uh, it's to teach you a lesson, but follow your heart.
Yeah.
Do whatever your heart wants. It's time for you to follow your heart. Leo's in charge right now, so just follow your heart. No matter what the money says, no matter what the rules say, follow what your heart feels and believes. what feels good inside of you, and everything's going to work out.
Yeah, you know, and you were mentioning that, well, I guess the universe is mentioning that we shouldn't do things for money, more like follow the heart. And I've been doing that. I feel like I've been doing that for plenty years, at least 7, 8 years, where, you know, like I don't have a lot of money, but I always have a roof and I always have food and always have something to buy myself candy or
Yeah, it's
whatever
like what it
ice.
honestly, money doesn't do anything, man. It is like I've had tens of millions of dollars. It does not do anything. I'm happy. Like I'm doing what I want to do.
Yeah, I feel like that's a massive currency, you know, your life, because you cannot get that back, and you could have a million whatever currency you want, pesos, dollars, whatever, but at the end, like you're not gonna get the time that you just expended on getting that money. And I mean, I love to touch wood, like they said, right? Not really believe in all those things, but if we die, like we're not gonna take that money, you know. We're gonna take the experiences that we live. So
Yeah, people are going to find that out. This next 18 months is going to level the playing field. I don't care who they are. I don't care what programs they think they have. Either you show up and add value in the world, or you're going to have a problem. So
yeah,
you're
yeah,
well equipped for it already. It's the people. I feel it's going to be harder for people who have had a lot of money. Like I've had a lot, and my process of not having a lot was very difficult because I've had money. I've been able to buy anything almost that I wanted my whole life, my whole adult life, anyways. And and the journey of not wanting anything, from like buying anything I wanted at any time to just not wanting anything, that was the journey.
right, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I was listening to something that Buddha said, that the less you desire, the less you need, the happier you
Yeah,
would be,
to-
the more
totally
complete.
agree with that statement. Would have said that was complete bullshit 5 years ago.
I gotta pay my
Yeah,
bills.
yeah. It's a real mind, it's a real mind warp. But yeah, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, I would have said that's all bullshit. But like it's changing. Things are changing. People are changing. You're on the right path. Like you're back there. You're today's a remotely important day for you to follow your heart and to be recentered. So it's really good talking to you, Chris.
Really good talking to you. Thank you so much for your time, energy, everything. Um,
Let's see what
yeah, I'm.
happens with Sharna. I'm curious now.
Yeah, I don't know. She could be watching you, us. I don't know.
Well, you'll
But
find out soon. She's a Gemini. She'll let you know.
yeah, I'm sure she would. I'm sure she would. But it's fine, you know. Whatever happens, happens,
Yeah,
and I'm just grateful for everything that happens,
yeah,
however it
yeah,
is.
yeah. You got the right attitude. So keep it on. Take care,
Thank,
buddy.
thank you so much. Thank you for your time. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, it was funny. We want some pictures of fascial maneuvers. That's exactly what we want. Fascial maneuvers while skydiving. David Maker. David, make her do what? That's a joke. David Maker, are you coming up? It's a soap opera. Yeah, yeah, soap opera. Does anybody know why they're called soap operas, by the way? Does anybody know why they're called soap operas? They used to do that. They put those on to sell soap to women. Literally. It was like Procter and Gamble and Johnson and Johnson and stuff like that. That's how it all started. That's how they funded them. It's to keep them busy, and it was to sell their ads. Yeah, and get up off your soapboxes, because they used to when there people would want to teach or say something, they'd go to the park and they would stand on a soapbox, and they would speak. They would give their viewpoints. So they get up off your soapbox. Yes, and Santa Claus, white and red. That's Coca-Cola. Julie Torbett. Hey, Gabrielle. Calgon. Yes. Calgon makes your hands so soft. They dip their hands in the soap. Meanwhile, we're like putting dyes and chemicals in your hands. It's like, it makes your hands so soft. Remember the Breck shampoo commercials? You tell two people, and so on, and so on, and so on. Sometimes you feel like a nut. Sometimes you don't. Almond joys of nuts. Mounds don't. All the people from other countries are like, what is he saying? I'm lost. Either too young or you're from another country if you don't know what that was. I thought Santa Claus was Amida Miscara mushroom. Yeah, Santa Claus is part of the mycelium network. Yes, yes, absolutely. Okay, well, I can't bring her up either. I'm in Canada. Yes, yes. For someone who is new to this, yeah, for someone new to this, you're like, who is this guy? What is he saying? Yeah, it's been a like for me, one of the greatest ways to understand decisions for me is because I have a lot of options. It's when I stop thinking about the options. That's my decision. So, because I used to try to make a decision, I'm like, make a decision, make a decision. I'd be forcing myself to make a decision. I'd feel under pressure. I get stressed out. And then I realized the decision was already made. I just stopped thinking about other options. And then that would manifest as talking about the one option. So I started selling it or talking about it. And I'm like, oh, that's my decision. Is that how you guys make decisions? Sometimes you feel like not. Sometimes you don't. Baby steps. Yeah. So what are you guys feeling right now? Out of curiosity, I'm curious because I'm going through all kinds of energetic shifts here, and I'm wondering what you're feeling. Do I take any other vitamins or supplements other than D, CMOS, and silica? Well, the fascial fuel and the fascial sweet I use. I like the fascial sweet after I eat because fascial sweet neutralizes, regulates your blood sugar within about 10 minutes. So I like to put it in with lime and soda and fascial sweet, and I drink it um, after food and well into the digestion process. And what I find is that it neutralizes the blood sugar from the hormones going. The fascial fuel, I like to take the fascial fuel. I like to keep my body. I get up in the morning, I put my body right into ketogenesis. I go on and off with that. I'm currently on, so I take it first thing in the morning. And I find it to be very powerful. Oh, I'm Power Kirk. But I don't take other supplements. I eat really healthy. And I know what you're saying. I eat healthy, so it should work. But the problem is that if your fascia is not open, if your body's not completely hydrated, if you don't have all the minerals and your small intestine is dirty, which most people are today, it's pretty hard to get absorption of nutrients. So other than that, I don't take any other supplements. And I believe, like, I like to take the diatomaceous earth. I add it as part of my food. And the Irish sea moss, I use it as a gel, or I use it in soup, or I use it in a drink. So it's part of my food. It's not a sub. I'm not taking it as a supplement. So I take Flow and Foundation when I'm traveling or when I need something quick. I have it around, but generally I add it into my food. So if I'm going to eat food, I'm going to eat Irish sea moss. If I'm, and what I like about it is I have the freeze-dried sea moss from Survival Moss, and they're on our partner store. And the freeze-dried one I can take out anytime. Like I can have it. I have a bag that's open that I left Vancouver with. I like the gel still. I eat the gel on a daily basis. I get the flavor, the texture. I really, really like it. But when I'm moving around and I want it and I feel like I need it, I always have the freeze dried powder. That works really, really well. Are feelings dangerous though? If we go by feelings, then how can you trust someone will stay committed to a marriage? Whoa, if you're worrying about somebody staying committed to a marriage, it's because you're having commitment issues. Pointing fingers. Those are pointing back at me. Means you're not being committed to yourself, most likely somewhere along the line. It's a funny thing. It's like what I fear the most I get. That's a pretty standard thing. Let's see if we can make it another Leo day. Garry, you're looking great. Thank you. Hey,
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 Garry.
Leo number 2 today.
Hey, I just hopped on super quick for the to share a bit about the Amanita muscaria thing. It's really interesting.
About the
So
which?
the mushroom,
Oh,
the Amanita muscaria, the red dotted, the red mushroom with the white dots.
yes.
So there's a theory out there that Christianity began as a psychedelic cult,
Yeah, it
and
did
that the
actually. Yeah, it did. I mean, you're going to piss off all the Christians when you say that, but yeah, there's a lot of evidence to support that. Yeah. And
Yeah, it's like, I mean, it's like the fringe scientists that are talking about it right now, but
hey,
I
you know
think it's
what's
going to
funny?
make
Look
its
at the
way.
Last Supper. Look at the Last Supper, and it's all every one of those people is the astrological sign.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I know that correlation with the 12 apostles and 12 astrological signs.
yeah. You can see it. I mean, you can point to it. You can say, yeah, this is exactly who they are by the way that their stance, their look on their face, whatever they're doing. It's so
Yeah,
funny when you look at.
yeah. And I mean, it's so interesting that connection between fascia and mushrooms and like just what psychedelics do is because mushrooms when you take magic mushrooms it like creates all these interconnections in the brain and you see things and you have perceptions that you normally wouldn't, and it's like the exact same thing when you do fascial maneuvers for a while. Slowly that starts to integrate into your perceptions, and it's like
Yeah,
it
it takes you out of
yeah
stress. That's what psilocybin takes the body out of stress. And when the body's completely out of stress, the brain reaches a gamma state, and then we see the connections. You've heard me say
yeah
this. My brain is 100% gamma 100% of the time right now. Every brain test I've ever had, I'm just red. So
wow
that means that I just see the connections, and that's also why especially in a fasted state, like you heard me say, I take 340 milligrams of MDMA and 120 milligrams of THC simultaneously, not to have any effect at all. Because when you're in a fasted state, that is the natural state. It's just that we haven't been there, and when we're there, we haven't. It's like being drunk for the first time. You don't really know how to use it, but by the time you've been drinking for a couple of years, you know how you can function perfectly on a couple of drinks. So it's about habituation of that state of awareness.
yeah. And what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, it's like it's the same thing. It's like, you know, the fascia connections is when we do one thing over and over and over again, it's like carving the same line in the snow or in the sand over and over. After a certain time, it becomes hard to take any other path, right? And then the fascial maneuvers, they open you up. You're literally creating new connections inside of the distributed subconscious in the body. It's like, it's the exact same way that like a mycelium network works. It's
We are a
like
mycelium
as above,
network.
so below.
Human
Yeah.
beings are genetically more closely related to a mushroom than anything else in the animal kingdom. That's actually a scientific fact.
Is that right? Right.
Yeah, Google it. Yeah, just say
That's so cool.
humans are genetically related to mushrooms. You'll see we are a mycelium network, but there's a part of us that is an animal part of us, and that's where in astrology, that's why I know where people's signs are often because there's an animal that we were created from. That's why Tauruses are a little stouter and thicker. It's why Capricorns are longer, leaner, usually leaner faces. That's why Geminis have longer hands typically and longer, broader shoulders. That's why Sagittarius
Interesting.
have longer waists, longer
Mhm.
torsos. Yeah.
You, I'm just thinking back. You mentioned just very briefly before I got on. You talked about making decisions, right? So when you take away looking at the options, you're able to make the decisions. So it's kind of like a catch 22, right? It's like when you open up and you see all the connections, right? You see more options, you see more paths forward. It kind of like how do you balancing that with
Well,
the
there's a
ability to make a
there's a
or
there's a process where we think we have to make a decision, otherwise we lose out. So that's a hard-grained, hardwired, ingrained process in us. But but if you have all of the connections all the time, like if you can only eat one item every day, and then
Mhm.
all of a sudden they put 30 items out there, you tend to want to have a little bit of everything. But if you have a buffet every time you go, after a while, you just go to the one or two items you want anyways.
Mhm.
So it's a matter of training, of having it over a period of time. It's like every other it's like every other experience in our life. It's like and the possibilities come, but what happens is the best possibility will reveal itself. But it can't reveal itself if I'm hardwired into this is the way it is, because I've set an expectation to an outcome. So if I've set an expectation to an outcome, I have to have, that's a judgment. I have to have something that resists that. Or if I just manage what shows up, accept what shows up. Now that's a very, very, um, uh, it's a very, very, uh, I'm choosing my words carefully. In my past, it was the hardest thing that I did was to accept what showed up. But because that means I wasn't in control and I wanted to be in
Yeah.
control, secret.
Yeah.
So, but as I do that more and more and more and more, I am in control of what shows up, because it's what shows up is a reflection of what happens in all the little decisions in my life, like how I treat myself, how I treat others, what kind of life I live. Then the things come up. I don't have to make these hard decisions anymore because everything starts to flow. But it takes time. Like it's something where once you start accepting what shows up, it's
Yeah.
like, well, the reality of stuff showing up I didn't want. Well, it's because I was thinking shitty for a long time. I was having
Yeah,
shitty
there's a lot
relationships.
of there's a lot of contrast and resistance that comes with doing something or following a path that shows up for you and you're just like, I guess I'm doing this now. I'm going to surrender to this. And along the path, there's more things that show up that you might not necessarily like. That's what's happening for me right now. And conversations happening at the right time. I'm learning to step back for a second, stop moving forward so fast, and just observe, see what's happening, and just accept what the next thing is going to be.
Somebody asked in here, do we ever do wrong? And the answer is no.
I
As a
I
matter of fact, every
believe,
decision is
yeah,
exactly the right decision for that exact moment, irrespective. The only wrong that we can do is by judging ourselves for the decision that we made.
that's right. That's right. And that's so. I mean, I've been doing meditation and emotional release for a while, and I it takes, I mean, for me at least, it took me years to get to the place where I can just see myself, observe myself doing the wrong thing, quote unquote, right? Doing the thing that I had an expectation against, and not judging myself for it. And I'm kind of in that space right now where I'm just like, I'm going through things and I'm seeing myself engage in behaviors that I would rather not, with that, but at the same time I'm like, I guess this is what is showing up right now, and like you said, stepping back, observing what is.
Yeah, it's like anything else. We learn to control, and we also can learn to observe. So we were taught control. It's not a human nature to try to control experiences. It's a human nature to observe. But we have been taught to control through mechanisms like fear, shame, guilt, not wanting to have emotions, not accepting the ones that are there. So that's part of it, is that we were taught that these things are wrong. So if you feel these, then move away from it. Like anger, shame, guilt, fear, those are all wrong. No, those are part of the experience. If I don't have them at some part, then I'm going to be off weighted somewhere, and somewhere there's going to be a malfunction.
Yeah, yeah. And I guess for anyone watching this who's like, I don't know how to re-experience fear, how to re-experience anger, how to re-experience shame and guilt so I'm able to move them out of my body. It's like, you got to create the safe environment for those things to come out, which is fascial
Yeah.
maneuvers, right?
Yeah.
It's like take the body out of stress and those things come out naturally, which is something I wish I knew 6 years ago.
Yeah. Well, wishing you knew it. It just is what it is. You're here now.
Yeah,
That's part
yeah.
of your journey. But
Of course. No,
there's
I
a
just
part of
I
it today where they're still important in my experience, but I get to experience them watching other people now. Like I had several situations yesterday where other people were going through emotions that I had so long and been through so many times and had so much pain in doing. And I got to watch other people experience them, and I didn't have the emotions attached, but I still got the reflection. Now that was
yeah,
really powerful because that means that I got the reflection, so I get to move ahead, but I didn't have to have the emotion to have that reflection. And this is part of what living in community allows us to do, is that I can see more of a reflection, because if I only see people a couple hours a day or I see them at work, whatever, I don't know when they're freaking out. I don't know what it's about. I don't have no context about it. So I get to see an action or a reaction, but I don't get to see what caused that. I don't get to learn from it. I get to experience it without the learning. And that's why, that's part of the archetype of society today. It's like alone, alone, private, private, private. Privacy
yeah,
is the disease that affects us the most.
yeah, yeah. Anyways, I just wanted to hop on and say hi. Unfortunately, Instagram won't let me see you as per usual. Um, but
It's okay,
yeah, I just wanted
making
to
a
put
funny
it out
face
there.
at you.
Okay. I wanted to put it out there that I'm gonna be going live every day for the next, now it's gonna be, today's gonna be day 3. I'm not part of the coaching program with you guys yet. I hope to be soon. But I'm gonna be going live and guiding some fascial
Perfect.
maneuvers. So if anybody would
Yeah,
like to join after
absolutely.
this live, it'll go around 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
So that's perfect. So anybody wants to follow can follow Gabrielle live doing some fashion maneuvers, and you do them excellent. So I would highly advise that you go and do this if you haven't done your daily maneuvers yet. Thank you,
Perfect. I'll
Gabrielle.
hope to see you guys there. Thanks.
Take care. Yeah, and that's a good point. You don't have to be a coach to help people. You just have to do them and share your experiences. That's what it is. Now, we have some people that are laid out as coaches, but they're going through a process. They're training, they're working, they're helping, they're showing up, they're working with each other, they're working as a team. That's all part of it. But other than that, to be a coach with fashion maneuvers, it's get online, do a maneuver, show other people, or play a video and watch it with other people. That's all you have to do. Gabrielle, can you put down so people can find you? So, oh, it's dropped in here. Yeah, yeah. Get a few friends to stress reset. You know something? Feels like today's the day to end early. My decision. Yeah, I'm at that point where I'm feeling like I'm about to try to make it work right now. I had a great experience today, and I think I want to end on a high. So it's 12:30. Let's end on this high. If you guys are in our 28-day global reset right now, we have a meeting tonight at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is 2 p.m. Pacific Time. We have an event that you can come to. It's in your If you're in the 28-day reset, go to your Circle app, go into the 28-day reset and look under events. You'll see it there. And it is a free live event, and we will be there. Also, if you are wanting to get into the 28-day reset, we want you to go and sign up for the 1-day reset on our website. You have to be signed up and registered for the 28-day reset. I think you've got one more day or 2 more days for the next one, which is on the 1st for the global reset. And then you get to do it with a whole bunch of other people at the same time. And if you are a content creator and you've been following doing fascial maneuvers, we are taking applications. We're getting ready to expand our team in a dramatic way. It's a live with, work with, travel with, position. And we are looking for content creators. We can train people. That's not our journey here right now. We're looking for people who are already demonstrated good content creators who want to come on this journey with us. And it's interesting. If you're interested, go to our website, sign up for that. Also, too, we're looking to do events coming up this spring. It looks like probably between middle of March or end of March, sort of like 21st area through to the April, May, through to the end of May. We're going to be doing 4 events in the United States. We're going to be doing, it looks like LA. We're going to be doing Austin, Texas, somewhere in New York, somewhere in Florida. And we haven't set up the dates yet. We're looking for local partners to work with. What does a local partner look like? It's somebody who is already has a following. And when I say following, I'm looking at 100,000+ people in a specific area of expertise that aligns with what we're talking about. Or you're a local event producer in the area and you're following what we do. It's really important if you guys just I know you know people that we should talk to. We're not going to reach out and talk to them. If they want to reach out and talk to us, that's great. We get dozens and dozens and dozens of requests today. We should talk to this person. We should talk to that person. If they're interested and they want to partner with us, what we bring is thousands of people. We bring a lot of media and attention. And if you are in one of those areas and you want to work with us, if you want to work with us, then please reach out. We are looking to give you the size. We're looking at 5,000 to 7,000 people in LA, 3,000 to 5,000 people in Austin, probably 2,000 to 3,000 people in New York, and in Florida, we're open. It could be a football stadium, who knows? And again, we're looking for celebrities or people of influence, people who have run events in those markets. We are attempting, not attempting, we are going to do this without recreating the wheel. And you know, like even in Vancouver, our home market, it takes us 3 or 4 or 5 events before we get it right, okay? And if you have somebody who is interested in working with us, have them reach out in the partner with us section. Actually, we can put a thing for events if you are, yeah, we'll put up something specifically to let people know if you want to partner with us in those areas so we can segment it out and work it quickly. So we'll put up in our partner with us, we'll put up a separate part where they can reach out if they want to partner with us in events in these areas. If you are looking to be a part of a community or contribute to our community, we are looking to expand the community into 80 to 100 units somewhere in Mexico. We're looking for a spot. And we want to be by the water, by the way. And we also are looking for, we're opening back up to larger contributors. Our largest contribution to date has been $175,000. Thank you so much for that. And we've had all kinds of contributions. And when you contribute on a monthly basis in our app, whether it's $3 or $5 or $20, it goes a long ways. And we're looking for some bigger contributors to be a part of this mission to set up the facility. So again, if you are in that spot or you're looking in that spot, let us know. We'll tell you what our plans are. We'll show you what we're already working on. We're super excited about what's coming up here. So do Austin in May 18th-ish. Yeah, that's a really important day. Super important day. Okay, thanks everybody. Take care. Have a great day.